Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to all the attendees of this webinar on a very basic and very important topic, benefits of choosing a right plumbing system. Before starting, I would request everyone to stand up for national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Now I request Sanjay Javanan, Mr. Sanjay Javanan, who is the Honorary Secretary of IPA Pune chapter, to please take over to share some details about IPA Pune chapter.
Thank you, Bhakti. I'll share panel. So, welcome all to the webinar of IPA Pune chapter. I would like to share the awards and accolades our chapter had in last 3 years. On the occasion of 25th year of IPA during IPC in 2018, our ex-chairmen, Mr. Subhash Deshpande and Mr. Nitish Pansarkar were honored. A special honor was given to the entire IPPL committee for their successful and tireless contribution in IPPL. Our chapter chairman, Mr. Praveen Bora, was the national convener for IPPL. Subhash Deshpande was conferred with fellowship on the same occasion. During the inception of special award of Navratna in 2018 by our president, since then our chapter has received 5 awards. Our Mr. Subhash Deshpande and Mr. Nilesh Gandhi has also got selected in technical committee of IPA, and the most important award of best chapter was achieved by our chapter in 2018, which was a special moment because IPA was celebrating its 25th year. During the last 3 years, we've conducted seminars and activities. I would like to share some of the activities which we had. In 2017, we took a part in Construct 2017, and we were a live demonstration of effect of hot water in different types of piping material, and also a demonstration of aerators, how we can save the water. This was done under I Save Water mission of Pune chapter. We again participated in 2019 with all the same vigor, and we've also conducted seminars for CREDAI in Pune and Bangalore. Our executive committee has visited Finolex pipe factory in 2019. We've celebrated recently a World Environmental Day with Institution of Engineers, Pune chapter, on 9th June, wherein the topic was contribution of IPA in protection and preservation of biodiversity. IPA has signed an MOU with CREDAI, and this was with special efforts from our chapter chairman, Mr. Praveen Bora, and our EC members, which enabled IPA national level to have a MOU with CREDAI on national level. This is for training the members of CREDAI by 2022, all the members across the country. This is a feather in our Pune chapter's cap, and all is because of the efforts of Mr. Praveen Bora, who is our chairman and is now a national coordinator for CREDAI events across India on behalf of IPA. Indian Plumbing Professional League. This is one of the most well received function of IPA, and they started with Pune Plumbing League, an idea which was introduced by Pune chapter to bring all the stakeholders of plumbing industry on one stage, wherein we can have a fun and we can have a learning also. This idea was well accepted by national level, and IPPL was introduced in 2017 at national level. Our chairman, Mr. Praveen Bora, was national convener and is national convener for IPPL across India. Mr. Subhash Deshpande, Mr. Rahul Darpare, Mr. Nilesh Gandhi, Mr. Rahul Sakore forms the committee which sets question papers. Mr. Subhash also our committee, our team members, Mr. Subhash Deshpande, Mr. Salil Karkanis, Mr. Rahul Darpare, Mr. Dinesh Shah, Mr. Nilesh Gandhi have traveled across the country to train the participants in IPPL through various chapters. Since inception of IPPL and PPL, our strength has increased by more than 240 members in Pune chapter, thanks to the support given by sponsors. iSave Water is one of the mission again generated in Pune during the water crisis in 2016, wherein our chapter team has traveled to Delhi to Neopal's laboratory and have seen the possibilities of saving water. Our chapter at that time took a mission to save 5 crore liters of water in Pune city by installing pressure compensating aerators. As a pilot project, our Pune chapter has installed PCAs in different types of buildings in Pune city. This mission was successful and we were able to save 5 crore liters during 2016, and this continued every year as the PCAs are already installed. Our mission was again well accepted at national level, and this mission was taken up at national level, wherein the target is to save 200 crore liters of water by 2022. Our Mr. Rahul Sakore is national convener for this mission. We celebrate World Plumbing Day every year with following programs. We conduct painting competition, essay competition, poster competition. Also, we conduct blood donation camp, which was difficult during this year due to COVID. But for last 3 years, we've been conducting blood donation camp. A special sticker which has been provided for WPD is displayed in the offices of all IPA PCEC members, and also celebrated by plumbing consultants across the Pune region. Our Pune chapter, Pune students have received first position in painting competition and third position in poster competition in last year's World Plumbing Day celebration across the country. Our Rahul Darpare, who is the National Joint Secretary, is National Convener for World Plumbing Day. Our Ms. Bhakti Mandke and Professor Dr. Nitin Moite conduct World Plumbing Day activities for our chapter in Pune. Our strength, which was 282 members in 2016, has grown by almost 75% in last 3 years, and we are now at 497 members in Pune chapter. Our Pune chapter's Pride Plumbing Lab receives almost around 1,000 to 1,200 visitors every year. Now, COP has agreed to provide more space so that IP can have an advanced lab soon. For this, IPA National Executive Committee has agreed to provide more investment. We thank College of Engineering Pune, Professor Dr. Nitin Moite and IPNEC for helping us to have this as a pride for Pune chapter. I thank all of you who have made our chapter a vibrant chapter in IPA. Thanks all. Over to
Thank
Bhakti.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Wow, no wonder our chapter is called the most dynamic chapter. Those who are already the member are enjoying all these benefits, and those of you, I'm sure you're very eager to join the same. Now I request Mr. Praveen Bora, Chairman IPA Pune chapter, to let us know about the IPPL 2020. Praveen sir, please.
Well, dear friends, welcome you all. Just a second, allow me to share the screen. So friends, you have seen the progress of IPA, and in fact, I would also like to share with you some news that elections were conducted in the month of June. People who have not kept track, and again the same committee was re-elected, though this entire process was online. We have received excellent support from the engineering community of Pune, and today on Engineers Day, I congratulate you all and hope our movement of taking IPA to new heights continues. We started our journey with the Pune Plumbing League from 2015, and we had quite successfully run it for 2 years, 2015, 2000 and 2017. And from then on, we continued joining the IPPL because this was the initiative taken national from Pune chapter. So we had 2017, 2018, 2019 IPPL conducted in physical form, wherein we used to train people for 6 to 8 weeks on Sundays, full day. I'm sure you might have remembered people who have participated. All the classes were conducted at COEP, and when it is not possible, that at Institution of Engineers. And we had a successful run. We were one of the most successful players for until 2000, up to 2019. In fact, in 2018, we won the national award as being the best chapter, and all this is because of the efforts of the entire IPA team in Pune, even the members who make it, who participate in all activities and help us make it one of the most vibrant and successful chapters. So now we are in 2020, and with the advent of COVID, we are really questioning ourselves how things are going to happen. But I'm sure Pune has restarted, and from whatever I am looking and whatever indicators we are getting, it is a successful start, though in a limited way. But I'm sure this is going to carry forward quite successfully into the year 2021, and I'm sure we will be out of our problems in 2020. Our biggest challenge in 2020 is that we are limited by our physicalness. So we are thinking how to go about executing the IPPL. So we have thought of the online model. But just before going to the new model, I would just like to share with you some perspective. IPPL has been quite successful. If you see the pie chart, you will observe that the consultants, PHE, MEP, and the contractors are only 36%, whereas 64% are people who are the ecosystem which makes plumbing happen. Our respected builders and real estate developers, respected architects and contractors, and everybody cumulatively who form the ecosystem of plumbing industry have participated. All these 64% gives us a big success ratio that we are doing our job quite well. So if you can see, 2,100 participants have participated in IPPL all over India. We have had 225 learning sessions each year and 23 IPA chapters participating. I think Pune chapter we should all applaud because this is the initiative of Pune which has gone national and has become quite successful. And the who's who have participated in the IPPL. So as we have the learn work from home, let us look at the learn from home format. So this is a very good opportunity that since we are not able to travel, since we cannot conduct our classes, this is the best form to take forward IPPL. And I'm sure with the adoption of technology by everybody, even small kids today are doing online studies. A lot of meetings are getting conducted online without the need for travel and movement of people. So we are looking forward to at least 10,000 participants all over India from 23 chapters. The biggest advantage here is today people from Nagar, Aurangabad or anywhere in India, even a village maybe, or maybe a small taluka place like Shirur, they can also participate. And this is the biggest advantage of IPPL, that we can go to the remote corners of our country. And I'm sure this model is going to be successful in future as well. We are getting excellent support from the partner organizations, CREDAI, IGVC, NAREDCO, IIID, FSCI, IAPMO, DI, and everybody is backing us on this. As you know, we are having 5 sessions. The topics are water supply, WTP, STP, water efficient products, pumping systems, hot water systems, rainwater harvesting, codes and standards, sanitary drainage, stormwater drainage, terminologies, fixtures and appetances. So we cover the whole gamut in 5 sessions, and session 6 will be where we will be taking, during these 5 sessions, we will be taking a lot of questions, and we will be conducting a final session on session 6 where all these questions will be answered. The whole idea is that we have to make this a more interactive session. We have to give solutions to the industry. We have to work with the industry for the growth of our plumbing systems. Today we are all challenged. I'm sure you are also facing this challenge, that there is a deficiency of people working in the field. Labor is less, though material and equipment is available. How we should move forward in such an environment, how we should offer solutions to our developer partners, to architects, so that plumbing executed flawlessly and at a very high speed with the appropriate quality. So I think these are challenges which we will surely answer through even in these sessions. Now, whoever participates, what is he going to get? An IPA professional membership, copies of our IPT and IPA news, complimentary copy, soft copy of AGGPP, read-only copy of UPI PCI, and an opportunity to network with who's and who of the plumbing industry. These we call as special IPA advantages, and the effects of what happens once you pass through the IPPL process. I would say there is has created a lot of awareness for you. There is a systemic improvement in planning. In fact, I can share with you in 2017, we had one person from the purchase of a major company, and he participated from the purchase team, and he went back and negotiated the contract that was there, for the STP, and he could save 19 lakh rupees. So this is a very big. He got promoted, salary increased because he used his skills that he acquired through IPPL and fine-tuned his solution for his company. We get the latest of technical information about latest products and latest systems from the manufacturers. So this is basically a professional building capacity, because there is no way that you can get plumbing knowledge in a school. That is the biggest disadvantage that is there. I did my engineering from COEP, passed out in '92, but I never had any knowledge of plumbing. So this is the biggest advantage that any engineer would get, that we work together and we give you the required training. Who can participate? Anybody above the age of 18, fair knowledge of English and directly or indirectly connected to plumbing. The participation charges 3,500 plus GST for non-IPA members and 2,500 plus GST for IPA members. There is a change in the fee structure because of the demand due to COVID times, and by the end of this session we will share with you or we will mail you the exact fee structure. So who can participate? Architects, interior designers, real estate developers, MEP consultants, plumbing engineers, plumbing contractors, PMC teams, technical institutes, manufacturers. So anybody basically can participate in who wants to look at plumbing as a career or who wants to get the knowledge for his field work in plumbing. Earlier, we used to give these trophies. We will surely be giving out these trophies. But in lieu of foreign tours, we will be giving cash rewards. So the winners will get, at the national level, will get 1,25,000. First runner-up 1 lakh, and second runner-up 75,000. And below also, during different stages, we will have different cash prizes. And these are a few of the testimonials. I am sure in the chat box you can surely type who have participated. We will call you on call during the session so that everybody can get a feel of your experience that you had during IPPL. So I've come to the end of it. These are our industry partners who have supported us, and I would like to thank them for it. So Bhakti,
Thank you so much, sir, Praveen sir. Wow, it looks so innovative and challenging event this year of IPPL, and will surely be a different experience for the participant and organizers. And every one of you want to participate in online IPPL version at the comfort of their home and or office. So we have very little time. So without wasting any much time, I would like to introduce you to the first speaker of the day. Our first speaker is Mr. Rahul Dadfade, who has done his postgraduate diploma in piping, designing and construction. Is a director of Urjal Consultants Private Limited and has completed more than 1,000 projects in India as well as abroad. Rahul sir is also National Joint Secretary of IPA. Dear all, I would also like to mention here that last week only Rahul sir got one of his invention patented from Government of India on milk and newspaper lift. We on behalf of all attendees and organizers would like to congratulate sir on this. We will also request Rahul sir to please throw some light on this. I would like to request Rahul sir to please start your presentation. Handing over to you, sir.
Thank you, Bhakti. Good evening, everyone. We are going to discuss today a case study which is for 22-story building, which is a gravity versus partially pressurized water distribution. Normally, the normal water supply system is always by gravity. In few cases, people have tried, but that entirely is by the hydrodynamic system fitted on the underground tank. What we have tried is a combination of the both, top floors from the overhead tank and bottom floors from the hydropneumatic system. Now, what was the reason which necessitates to think a different system in this particular fashion? This is not for the cost saving. Ultimately, we can save the cost, but basic reason was the safety. Now, if 22-storied building means 71 meters, 22 into 366 plus 5 meter top of the tank. So 71 meters is the height of a building. And if you know 10 meters is equal to 1 kg, so pressure gets converted to 7.1 kg per centimeter square. Whereas if you see any CP fitting, minimum pressure requirement is 1 kg and maximum pressure recommended is 5 kg. So when you go beyond 5 kg, your entire system is at risk. And the risk is somewhere where a particular thing is, if it fails, there will be a cascading effect and there will be multiple failures. So if you can keep your pressures below 5 kg, we can call it as a fail-safe system. Means even there is a failure, the total system will be in the safe mode. So that was the basic reason. If we can divide it into two portions, any consumption point will always be under 5 kg. So nothing will be in a red zone or a danger zone. Everything will be in a safe zone. In gravity system, definitely we are going for PRV, but in most of the cases, they are not set for the designed pressures and they can malfunction. So in this particular scenario, you cannot 100% rely on the functioning of the PRV as you have designed. And if it fails or if it is not set to the design pressure, then your CP fitting can be exposed to the higher pressures than allowed. And in that case, any mishap with the hot water, with the high pressure, really can be a fatal. So one has to really think from safety point of view, how you can keep your entire system within the range or below the maximum allowed pressure. Now, if you see the basic data of this particular case, number of buildings are 3, number of floors are 3 parking plus 22, number of flats per building 88, number of flats per floor 4, number of toilet ducts per building 8, number of kitchen ducts per building 4, water requirement considered is 135 liters per person per day, and hot water requirement considered is 25 liters per person per day. That means 125 liters per tenement per day. Now, if you see, NBC allows you to 7 to 9 floors per down tank. But in practice, maximum 5 to 6 floors are connected. What is the reason? First is to control the pressure, and second is to avoid the siphonic effect. If you connect more than 9 floors, there is every possibility that at the top floor, instead of water coming out of the tap, air may get sucked through it. So maximum 5 to 6 are in practice, you connect it. So this way we can limit the pressure normally below 2.4, 2.5 kgs per centimeter square, so that the maintenance problems are less. You conserve the water, you don't waste unnecessary water because of the pressure, and you can keep entire system very safe. So if you see the 280 feet pipeline is without any connection. What exactly it means? If you can see, because top 3 floors doesn't have sufficient pressure, normally they are installed with HPS system, hydrodynamic system. So top 3 floors having a separate system, then you have connected say 5 to 6. So 3 floors on the top, they are without any connection. Then the third pipeline, third downtake is these 6 plus the top 3. So total 9 floors are without connection. And the last rightmost downtake, it has got 15 floors without any connection. So if you add all these floors without connection, it comes to 280 feet. So if you can reduce it, if you can control it, actually you are using the less pipeline and you really can save the cost. So you see the top 3 floors normally does not get required. So we have already discussed that minimum pressure is 1 kg and maximum pressure is 5 kg. So top 3 floors you don't get the minimum requirement of 1 kg. So when you don't have the sufficient pressure, you go for hydropneumatic system. When you have excessive pressure, you go for PRV. So for top 3 floors, you are going for a HPS system. Secondly, it has to be ensured that cold water source and hot water source is same, so that the pressure at mixers are same. You cannot have one water supply pressurized and another without any pressure, or you cannot have the different pressures at the cold water and hot water, because that will decide the mixing parameters. And if they are not the balanced pressure, then you can get a thermal shocks. So you get a cold stream and immediately you get a hot stream, or there will be a temperature difference in the 2 streams. So that is a very uncomfortable situation and can be also dangerous also. So if you can see, when there is a pressure which is less than 5 kg, though the codes say that in any pressure reducing valve station, your bypass line also should have a pressure reducing valve. But in practice, normally when your pressure is less than 5 kg, people go for only one pressure reducing valve. So in case of any maintenance with the pressure reducing valve, you allow the water to flow through the bypass system. There you will get some kind of a discomfort. You may waste some water. You may increase certain maintenance issues, but your system will still remain in a safe zone. But when you are crossing the 5 kg, it is a must that you should have pressure reducing valve on both the lines. So if you can see, the downmost pressure is 7.1 kg. For third line, it is maximum 5 kg. Then top 2.9 kg. So this is the way your pressures will be. So we discussed that a pressure should be balanced for hot water and cold water. So for top 3 floors, as you have a separate line with hydropneumatic system, your hot water system also should be separate for top 3 floors to maintain the balanced pressure. So whenever you have a pressure system for top floors, you have to ensure that you have 2 separate solar or any hot water system. One is a pressurized and one is non-pressurized. So pressurized for top 3 floors and a non-pressurized for remaining floors. So we thought of the combination of gravity plus HPS. So what we thought, we divided 22 storied building into 2 11-storied building that are placed on each other. So we considered 2 separate buildings which are placed on each other, whereas we supplied the water to the top building from overhead tank, whereas for the lower building we supplied the water from the hydropneumatic system from the UGT. What was the advantage? Advantage first, from the safety point of view, pressure is controlled and below 5 kg centimeters per square at all the consumptions point, so that the entire system is in fail-safe zone. And secondly, length of pipeline, which was 280 feet, from which there was no connection in the entirely gravity system, that came down to 140 feet without any water connection in one duct. So multiplied by these ducts, you save the cost of the piping, your space requirement is reduced, and per building you can save 6,750 feet. The meters is the wrong thing. 6,750 feet of pipe in ducts only. You can see the space requirement is less. Your pressure reducing walls requirement is less. Your pipeline is less, and it is without compromising any comfort level or any technical issues. Everything is intact. You are going exactly as per the technical requirements. You are not compromising on any kind of comfort, and still you can save. So because you cannot see this entire building, so I have two different zones I have shown in two different slides. Now, hot water. Now, this new concept created a challenge to supply hot water. We cannot have cold water source separate and hot water source separate, which ultimately can result in imbalance in pressure and thermal shocks. But normally we supply the hot water through solar system, and you cannot install the solar system at the ground level. It has to be installed at the terrace level only. So when you are shifting your water supply from top to bottom, your hot water system also has to shift from top to bottom, and the solar system cannot be used at the ground level because there is a technical challenge for it. So you have to find out a solution which will give the hot water supply, and it will be comparable as far as costing is concerned to the solar system. So the answer for this challenge was use of the heat pumps. So heat pumps, capital cost wise and running cost wise also, they are very much comparable to the solar system and can be used anywhere. It is not necessary that you install it at the terrace level. You can install it even in the basement. So this was the system. Now it has converted to top and bottom. So for top, you have two separate solar system. One is a pressurized for top 3 floors, another for remaining floors. And at the ground level, you have a hydropneumatic system for cold water supply and a heat pump system for hot water supply. So these. So the same thing is going to happen with the recycle system also, and therefore you are going to save the pipeline as well as cost for recycle system. If you have a drinking water system, for that also you are going to save the water, save the cost. So if you finally see the cost comparison of the both the systems,
Be not audible.
Just 2 minutes. We're just solving issue, technical issue. Okay, in the meantime, I would like to tell everyone there is a question and answer session at the end. So if anyone has questions, because many people are putting in the chat box, so that time you can ask the questions, because right now panelists are busy giving the lectures, so they are not reading the questions. When I'll take the question and answer session, that time you can ask the questions.
Hello, am I audible?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are.
So, BR, you have to make me again the host.
Hello. Yeah, actually, you can post your questions right now so that we can save on time, and we will answer at the time of question and answer session. Okay. Thank you.
BR, Bhakti, you can check whether you can host.
RD, we can hear you, so you can go ahead.
But I cannot share the screen.
Rahul sir, check one.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Hello,
you
I'm
can
here.
share- Yeah, you can share the screen.
No.
I have changed the setting.
No, I'm not. Okay, I will check. Can you see?
No, sir.
Can you see the screen?
No, we
No,
cannot
sir.
see.
No.
That is why. Okay, I will just.
देखते हैं, मैंने बोला उसको जैसे ही हो जाएगा देंगे.
Hello.
I have made. हाँ, अभी फोन करता हूँ, इधर प्रवीण बोरा का फोन आ रहा है.
BR, he is
Yes.
not able to share
Hello,
his
BR.
screen.
I have made him co-host.
You have made him co-host.
हाँ, he can do it. He should be able to do it. I have checked that when you were calling.
Now he's got disconnected, I think.
Yeah, he'll just log in back. I think he'll be able to.
Let us try for 2 more minutes. If does not happen, we will have his session later on. Then.
Yeah, yeah.
Normally it doesn't happen. I don't know why it happens. Yeah, yeah, he comes back. So I am making him co-host. Hello? Can you listen? Can you hear us?
Yes.
RD, RD. Are we audible? You are not audible.
हाँ सर. Hello. Yeah, some technical issue is there, so we will take his the remaining part after the next speaker. So till now, whatever the explanation was there, it was really in detail. So we are very thankful for that. The next speaker, I would like to introduce Mr. Nilesh Gandhi. He's a proprietor of ACE Consultant. He's a civil engineer from MIT Pune. He has several prestigious membership under his name, like life membership of Indian Plumbing Association, membership of American Society of Plumbing Engineers, National Fire Protection Association, Institute of Fire Engineers, member of Jury Panel for Builder Association of India, Pune chapter. He is also vice chairman of IPA Pune chapter and member of National Level Technical Committee. He brings with him rich experience which he has gathered while working with some prestigious organizations like Tata Electric Company and Shapoorji Pallonji. His consultants have completed many projects in past 18 years. Sir have been consultant for many international hotel chains like Marriott, Radisson Group, Oakwood, to name few, and also for multinational chain like KPIT Software, Tech Mahindra. So without wasting much time, I would like to hand over to Nilesh Gandhi, sir. Sir.
Thank you, Bhakti, for your nice present welcome. Allow me some time to present my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
No, sir.
I think the sharing button itself is disabled. The sharing button is disabled, Bhakti.
Okay. Sir, can you look? Just 2 minutes, sir.
No, you are already a co-host. You can do it.
Correct. I was able to. We checked also, but now.
Now you try. Now you try again.
Okay.
I'm just.
Or can you email me? I will share it. I am able to share.
The size is quite heavy, Bhakti. It will take time. There is video, and I can do it, but it will take time.
Yeah.
You have to click the screen share screen bottom.
Yeah, itself is disabled.
How come?
Rahul sir, you're able to share? We can finish that.
You can't
You're
hear
mute.
you.
You're mute.
So I will only my 2 or 3 minutes are remaining. I will.
Then you continue. In the meantime, we'll check.
Yeah. Sir, Nilesh sir, can you mail me till meantime?
Yeah, I will mail you.
Okay, Rahul sir.
So hello, now you can you see my share here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We can see.
Okay. So now, what was balance was the costing. So, if you see the piping cost for only gravity system was 73 lakhs, which came down to 45 lakhs because we have saved the piping cost because we are using the less piping and we are using the less pre-RVs. So the entire cost in the piping has come down from 73 lakhs to 45 lakhs. Hot water system, as it is comparable, that is not going to change. It is same in both the systems. In one system, entire system is solar only on the terrace. In second system, partial is solar and partial is heat pump. In pumping cost, you have increased one pumping system, but the its sizing has come down. So there is a slight difference of 10 lakhs rupees, that is increase in gravity plus HPS. But if you see in totality, the cost from 1 crore 20 lakhs rupees has come down to 94 lakhs rupees. And that is the net saving of 26 lakhs rupees. If you see, the saleable area for this particular scheme was 3,20,000 rupees, 3,20,000 square feet. So the cost saved per saleable square feet was almost rupees 8. And the entire cost is roughly 32. So in 32 rupees, you could save 8 rupees per square feet. So if you see, these are the details, not much to discuss about it, but these are the details of the costing, and what I have presented you is the everything in nutshell. So the conclusion is, normally we think that if we invest more in capital cost, then we save operational cost. But if you see in this case or in this study, just explain, it is not always true. So we saw that capital cost also can be saved, and at the same time, you have a totally fail-safe system. And the conclusion is, out of box thinking is a way forward. So thank you. We'll take the questions at the end of the.
Okay. I will share the PPT. Nilesh sir, you guide me better.
Wish all of you a happy Engineers Day. You can move on to the next PPT, next page. Today, I am going to discuss a case study. I hope it will be more interesting for everybody. This is a case study of a commercial project named as Eon IT Park, which was started in somewhere in 2006 and completed in over a span of 6 to 7 years. The case study is between comparison on technical and commercial level between the gravity drainage system and the siphonic drainage system. Next page, please. Now, before we go directly on the case study, I will add on some basic information on the different systems. What is gravity? Everybody is aware, but what is siphonic? Let me brief some of you for the benefit of doubt. Unlike a traditional roof drainage system in which pipe is partially flowing full, siphonic system actually works full bore. That means the aim of an engineer is to remove all the air from the drainage line, which is very challenging. It may sound simple, but it takes years of R&D and product development effort to make system work. Because whenever you want to allow water, the air also gush in, and because of entrainment of air, the carrying capacity of the gravity system is actually reduced. You may surprised to know that in the gravity system vertical pipe, the water percentage of the cross-section area is only 1/3 and 2/3 is air. And in horizontal pipe, it is almost 70% water to 50% water and rest is air. But in siphonic, the aim is to remove all the air and fill the pipe 100%. And how do you achieve this? To achieve this, we need to have anti-vortex plates. Next page. In a such a way that only water goes and there is restriction for air or prevention for air to go inside. Now, gravity rainwater system relies on the property of the water, which is a gravity motivating force. That means, let's say you have 50 or 100 mm height of water on your terrace, then that is the driving force for the whole system. And around in siphonic system, if your building height is 70 meter, then from the top terrace to the first chamber where the system is again converted to gravity, the 70-meter height is acting as a driving force. That makes the whole difference between the siphonic and gravity system a more economical and a less number of pipe as compared to gravity system. Next page. I have explained this. You can go to the next page. Now, this is the simplistic way one can explain, but to give more friendly example, in all our college days, we used to take petrol from our car's bike when our tank used to get dry. So what we used to do is to put a pipe, suck the air from the pipe, and the water or the petrol used to lift against the gravity from the tank, and it started coming into your bottle. So this is the way siphonic works in reality. Technically, you can say that W is equal to √2 GH and Q is W into S. But the simple system, as I told you, the same way siphonic works. Next page. I had tried to do a technical comparison between gravity and siphonic system for easy understanding. So let's see each and every point one by one. First is the design principle. In gravity system, we only have a height of water which is about 30 to 50 mm above the terrace roof, which is acting as a head. In siphonic system, the inlet to the first chamber, whatever is the static height, that complete static height acts as a driving force. Space saving in the shaft. Gravity system being more number of pipe, bigger sizes, required more number of shaft. And siphonic system, you will observe, is about 50% of the shaft set as compared to gravity. Third and the most important aspect is at the horizontal basement level or parking level, which gravity system requires a lot of slope. Generally, we try to provide slope in the range of 1:100 to 1:200, which eats away a lot of ceiling height. Sometime in the planning stage, we may have to keep more height to accommodate sloping pipes of gravity for rainwater system. Here, siphonic system actually comes to the help of architect and site engineers because these pipes in reality do not require any slope. I will reiterate, it do not require any slope for the horizontal line because it is flowing full of water. It can run horizontally without any slope. Bhakti, I am not able to see the screen.
Yeah.
It has come again.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can. So that's the advantage one can get in the basement. Your coordinations are reduced. Your height of the basement can be optimized if it is only for the rainwater pipe. You can avoid that increase in height. This fourth part is specifically particular for developer and the cost estimation. The cost of architectural elevation treatment is one cannot anticipate the start of the project because at that stage, number of pipes, type of elevation in the facade is not finalized. As you move ahead in the project, this hidden costs start coming. In gravity system, as we have a lot of cost of architectural treatment for the elevation is high. In Siphonic system, this reduces to 1/3 or 1/2 depending upon the project. Velocities in the piping system. Gravity system is restricted to flow between 0.7 to 3 meter per second. Siphonic system, you have very high flow rate. I have seen one video of Dubai and Abu Dhabi wherein the siphonic system was able to take away even the dust particles settled on the roof. So water plus dust sand was taken away because after 3 meter per second velocity, the particles get lifted from the bottom and they can be easily cleaned with the help of water. The velocities in siphonic system range somewhere between, it can start from 1 meter and it can go as high as 7 meter per second also. That's the reason the supporting system and the pipe material has to be really strong, because with higher velocities at the turning, all this thrust is transferred onto the supports, and if the supports are not properly done, then it can dislodge the pipe. Planning aspect and deviations on site. Here, Indian context, we have to be careful because we are used to do a lot of changes on site without consulting the designer, which is quite possible in the gravity system. But in siphonic system, and it is an engineering based system, and even by adding few number of bends and extra length can be a deviation in design. So you need to consult the manufacturer and the designer for doing any site changes. You cannot do as per your own wish and desire. Next page. Cost of material supply. If you only see the raw cost of material, then the gravity system pipes are cheaper. The siphonic system pipes are expensive. I am talking about only pipe supply cost. If you see the material supply time, gravity system pipes are readily available probably in 3-4 days time or weeks time you can get. Siphonic system, as most of the companies are out of India, you require a lead time of 2 to 3 months. This is another reason when you do planning and you deviate, the material delivery will also get delayed. You may have to airlift, it may increase your cost. Here comes the important aspect of warranty. You will not get any warranty in writing from the manufacturers supplying the conventional SWR system. You can get only warranties from the manufacturers of siphonic system, which are varying from 7 to 10 years. This warranty can really play a crucial part when it comes to situations like RERA or for a warehouse or industry having a lot of costly material or machinery stored below, and any warranty against system performance in writing will definitely have high confidence with them. Next page. Now we will discuss the case study specifically. You can see the photo of this pod. This is the one pod which I have shown. The design was really very challenging for a plumbing consultant, as there was 2 to 3 degree dimensional slope. The whole building was sloping in the length way, as well as there are cross slopes to the building. There was lot of glass facade, so very less location for the vertical pipes to go. The point which I raised about the architectural facade treatment was a crucial factor in this project. You can go to the next page. Eon IT Park is an SEZ project developed by Panchashil Realty. There are 4 pods. Each pod is having area of 8 lakh square foot, and the roof area was 1,26,000 square foot. It's a leaf-like shaped structure and with a complex slope in both directions. Next page. When we do the cost comparison, the siphonic system material cost was 24 lakh, and you will not believe the gravity system cost was 30 lakh. Here, though we are able to, there was a difference. The cost of Symphonic was low at the material itself. Believe me, this was possible for two reasons. One is the larger the roof area, the Symphonic system is more economical as compared to gravity system. Secondly, there was a SEZ benefit which adds to the help. But even if it is slightly expensive, there are a lot of other factors which we will have to evaluate, and I'm sure after you factor that, you will definitely prefer this engineering solution system. No, go to the previous page. There were almost 800 square foot of shaft area which we were able to save as compared to Symphonic system. Now, those 800 square foot was released as a sellable area for the developer. Even if you consider a rate of 40 to 45 rupees a square foot for any IT park, or it can be 30 rupees a square foot depending upon the locality, the yearly rent itself is 4 lakh rupees. So this cost we don't factor in normal case. Now this is a every year add-on cost. So even if you consider a project span of 15 years or 20 years, this cost is substantial, and one has to add this in comparison. There is another cost of architectural elevation treatment which we have not added because here itself the cost benefit ratio has exceeded. Next page. The number of downtake in Symphonic system was only 16 as against 58 number in gravity system. There were also some cost saving in the underground piping that also we have not factored. But this cost saving will purely depend on the project to project layout, whether you have hard rock or soft rock or soil, all these factors will contribute for that. Next page. This is a representative drawing of 50% of the pod area. We have shown you 5 different color zones indicating 5 different zones for Symphonic system, wherein we have a main system as a primary system as well as an emergency overflow system. So there is 1+1 system management, making sure that even one system fails, there is another system which will take care of the will take care of the flow. Next page. You may not able to see, but if you look at the numbers mentioned, these are the locations for the rainwater pipe, and after due planning, we were able to reduce 59 and 60 and 18 number. So ultimately, we boiled down to 58 numbers of rainwater downtake. Next page, please. These are some of the pictures of how we install the outlet into the gutter. The red one is the outlet. Then we have to connect the outlet to the horizontal header. The horizontal header in turn is connected on a stainless steel railing which is supported to the structural member. This stainless steel railing is supported at 3.5 meters center to center, and the outlet pipes are supported at intermediate support varying from 900 mm, 700 mm to 1.2, 1.4 meter. It depends upon the type of pipe and size of pipe. Next page. This is another section how we have installed this. This was a side view. This was a cross section area. You can see the vertical stainless steel rail now in cross section. This fitting outlet in cross section and the pipe in cross section. Next page, please. This is the physical photo of install outlet. You can see one vertical fin-like arrangement adjacent to the outlet. This was done specifically to make sure that because the gutter was continuous, we don't want identified water of one area identified into different colored zone should enter into another zone unless there is an overflow. That means if some outlets are not working, then the water will overflow and go into other zone, but otherwise it was not expected to go. So we make sure that the required flow of each area is diverted to those specific outlet. Next page. Thank you all. There is a video, but it is very big in size. So I will try to check whether if I am able to share the screen. If I can, then I will show you. Still, I'm not able to share the screen.
Can you
Maybe,
WhatsApp me, sir?
no, it's quite
No.
big.
What's okay.
I cannot mail. I will have to do WeTransfer and it will take time. So,
We can share it later on after
yeah.
Subhash sir. You can
Thank you
transfer
everybody
it.
for hearing me. We will take the question and answer later.
Yeah.
Over to you, Bhakti. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really we are very lucky to have a live case study. So thank you really. Thank you very much. Now moving ahead, I would like to, I'll request our next speaker to join. So our next speaker, actually you must have guessed it, and he's our favorite. Yes, correct. I'm talking about Subhash Deshpande sir. Subhash sir is a chartered engineer and has done his masters from Canada. Having completed more than 38 years in the industry, sir has worked as a consultant on many prestigious projects. Sir was a past chairman of IPA Pune chapter and also founder of Plumbing Lab. Currently, he is a member of IPA Technical Committee. Deshpande sir is a receptor of World Plumbing Council Training Scholarship 2007. Under this program, he had visited Australia for a month to study the plumbers training facility there. Subhash sir has more than 400 days of actual training to his credit. Considering his passion, devotion, and the training experience in India and abroad, sir is popularly known as Brahmacharya. So I'm handing over this to Subhash sir. Sir, you can start.
Yes. Thank you, Bhakti. Thank you very much. Friends, good evening on this Engineers Day. Today is the birth anniversary of Bharat Ratna Sir Mokshagundam Vishweshwaraya, and I'm very proud to say that he is alumnus of COEP, graduated in 1883. Coming back to our topic, leakages, we're going to look at some of the causes and remedies of leakages. This is a very common problem. The moment you hand over the flat, the first complaint that you receive from the flat is leakages or less or more pressurized water. This is a very bold statement. Bad plumbing causes leakages. Everybody says bad plumbing causes leakages. And yes, in some ways it does. Let us see what are the causes. The first and the foremost is the lack of inlet fitting. You know, we have this habit of connecting the wash basins and kitchen sinks on a floor trap. I don't know why, because this is called as double trapping. You already have a water trap or P trap and then connect it to another floor trap. But anyway, that is the practice in India. But what we do is we connect the waste. You see the figure on the left. The waste is simply laid over the floor trap, and then the remaining section in the sunken toilet is finished with cement. You cannot actually see while working over there. You just have to put your hand and do some kind of plaster and pray the God. But with the capillary action over a few days, the water starts seeping through that area into the sunken toilet portion, and you have huge leakages. But if you use the inlet fitting, which you see on the right with a black outline, that is the inlet fitting. So the water coming from the floor will not go with the capillary action into the sunken toilet portion, and there will be no leakage. But this is a very, very common mistake. And all of you, if you just add maybe 500 rupees on an inlet fitting, or some people call it hopper, then that leakage can be stopped. WC connectors. Nowadays, nice WC connectors are available both for wall-hung WC as well as floor-mounted WC. However, the practice, very common practice, is that you have a collar of a drainage pipe or a drainage fitting in which you push the WC into it and again pray God. What happens is eventually the water starts leaking from this joint, and sometimes even the smell comes out of the drainage line from this joint. So you must have a proper WC connector and with a neoprene bearing over there, the ring, the smell, the foul air as well as leakage can be stopped. But these are the good practices, and one must adopt it in order to have your good reputation. Again, wrong pipes and wrong fittings. You have two types of pipes. This is a very commonly used UPVC pipe and fittings. We use solvent cement pipe and fittings and solvent cement joint for horizontal pipes, and O-ring joint for the vertical pipes. Now, what happens at site is sometimes you have the pipe, but the fittings are of different type, and sometimes you have wrong fittings. What you do is then put some Fevikwik or something over there, put some splash of sand and do the fitting, do the jointing. Obviously, that ends up into leakages. So you must use proper pipe with a proper fitting and for the proper application. Wrong fittings for wrong application will definitely result into leakages. Okay, then you don't have a proper fitting available, or you don't have a small piece of pipe with a collar over there. So what you do is you heat up the pipe, expand it somehow, and then make a joint. Again, that joint is bound to make leakages. That is the picture on the left where heated joint is there. On the right, this is a typical picture from Pune where you are required to have the last run of the vertical pipe as cast iron pipe. This is to protect the pipe from moving vehicles. And how do you join UPVC pipe and fitting to a cast iron pipe is a big jugaad. You add cement at the joint, you add whatever Fevikwik, Fevicol into it. However, there will be shrinkage cracks. Eventually, you will have small trees growing over there, and you will end up with leakages. You must have a proper adapter fitting, which is available in the market for connecting two different types of pipes and joints. Avoidable door fittings. See the picture on the left, that is showing a door fitting which is at right angles to the pipe section. Now, what is it serving? Can you really remove the blockages in the pipeline with this door fitting? No. The picture on the right, it shows a door fitting which is very close to the dead wall. Can you remove that plug and do the rodding from there? No, you cannot do that. Also, there is another door fitting on the elbow at the bottom, which is available only for a very small length of the pipe, which is less than 300 millimeters. So all the door fittings basically are useless. Also, they are costing you more, and eventually all the door fittings start leaking because of the ring, rubber ring inside hardens over time with the sun, and then it cracks and the leakages start. You must avoid door fittings wherever they are not required. Manual cutting. The picture on the left is showing you a brick wall, and the plumber has done the chasing manually. Now, this is not acceptable at site. Firstly, you must plaster the wall before doing chasing. You should not do a brick wall chasing without plaster. You are likely to cause a lot of leakages and cracks from which leakage will start. And it must be done by a cutting machine, not by chisel and hammer. Picture on the right is obviously, it is showing a slab being cut by chisel and hammer, damaging the slab, causing a lot of hair cracks, which you don't see at that time, but eventually they all start leaking, and there will be a big problem of leakages. This must be stopped. You must control your labor and provide them proper equipment for mechanical cutting and chasing. deburring of the joints, whether it is water supply pipe or drainage pipe. When you want to join the pipe and fitting, you must, after cutting, you must remove the burr at the end of the pipe. That is not done by, let's say, 98 of 100 plumbers, because they are not trained. They just learn at site, they just learn from their friends, they just learn from their father or relatives, and they don't learn how to deburr the pipe. Now what happens is, because of the burr at the end, there is a turbulence in the flow of the water or flow of the wastewater, and then there is some pitting action that is happening because of the negative pressure on the other side of the joint, and ultimately there is leakage. So deburring of the joints of water supply as well as drainage pipes is very, very important. Excessive water pressure. Now, if you're using a good quality water supply pipe of a reputed manufacturer, it might take the pressure of maybe 10 bar or 12 bars. However, there will definitely be leakages at the plumbing fittings. The plumbing fittings will start leaking, if not the pipes and joints. Why excessive pressure? That is because you have a PRV which is having a bypass, and if the PRV is damaged, it's not working, needs repairs, you open the bypass valve and allow the water to flow through the bypass. So instead of 1 bar pressure, you have 3 bar or 4 bar or 5 bar pressure in your water supply. The excessive pressure ends up with the leakages. It also ends up with excessive use of water, which is wastage of water. We must conserve the water for the future generations. So what is the solution? The solution is to have 2 PRVs, and one working and another is a standby, with proper isolation valves and pressure gauges which indicate whether the PRV is working or not. This is the right way of installing a PRV in high-rise buildings. Initially, a little more cost, but there is a guaranteed working of the system without any leakages. Hot water. If you don't select the pipe carefully, and if you don't provide the supports to the pipe at required length, you end up having a snake-shaped pipe. Now, the moment there is a torsion in the pipe because of the expansion of the pipes, there is a stress at the joint of pipe and the fitting, and the leakages start. So, for example, plastic pipes or polymer pipes will need more supports than metal pipes. This is a very universal truth, but you have to have the proper charts, and you have to follow the plumbing codes for providing support to hot water pipes. Whenever you are crossing a water retaining structure such as basement or water tanks, etc., you must use a puddle flange to ensure that you are crossing the structure, whether it is metal or plastic or concrete, with proper care, and there is no leakage at the joints or the core cutting of the structure, whether it is basement wall or basement floor or water tank wall or floor. So puddle flange must be used while crossing water retaining structures. Changes. This is a big problem in our construction industry. We keep changing the plans, we keep changing detailing. Now, the picture I have taken here is a small change in the location of the mixer, because the architect decided to have the fittings at the center of the tile instead of at the joint of the tile. Now, these changes always end up with problems, because whatever changes you make, this is done by a small young plumber. It is not done under proper supervision, and the joints are not done properly, and you have leakages through these joints. So you must avoid the changes, last minute changes at site wherever possible. Talking about seepages now. The picture on the left is showing that the pipes, the vertical pipes, or as we call it, stacks. The stacks are fixed at a certain distance, minimum 50 millimeters away from the wall. So there is a gap of 50 millimeters between the pipe and the wall. So if there is a leakage on the pipe, that leakage travels all the way down to the bottom of the plumbing shaft. However, the picture on the right is showing that the pipes are mounted directly on the wall. So if there is any leakage on the pipe, that leakage will be transferred onto the wall or into the room. It will come and damage your furniture. It will come and damage your plumbing. It will damage your paint. So such a leakage or seepage must be avoided by keeping the pipes away from the wall. Also, if you see the picture on the right, the hole made in the wall for taking the pipes out is obviously made by a plumber without a proper core cutting machine. And then that, as we call it, gabadi is finished by the plumber, not a proper mason with proper watertight, waterproof plaster. So the civil contractor must be engaged in doing the gabadi or making the hole good, not a plumber. So these are two basic requirements. Another observation on the picture on the right is that these are all fabricated fittings. The fittings are not properly, they are not the ones which are approved by BIS standards. They are fabricated at site. So the flow is not smooth. There is turbulence in the flow. And if the joint is not done properly, it is definitely going to leak. So the fabricated fittings must be avoided. All right, so we have seen some of the cases where bad plumbing was causing leakages. It was not because the plumbing material was bad, but it was the oversmart plumber who was using his own ideas. And you must have proper training to the plumbers so that these leakages can be easily avoided. However, it is not always the case that the leakage is happening only because of bad plumbing. There are many other reasons for leakages. Excuse me. So let us see what are the other causes. At the planning stage itself, you must have seen the figure on the top over there, where the shower area has a diagonal slope. I think 70% or maybe more architects will show you or issue you a drawing with a diagonal slope, arrow going diagonally. Looks beautiful in the drawing, but how do you get it at site? It's impossible to get a diagonal slope in shower area. And then you go to site, see the leakages, you start blaming the plumber or you start blaming the tiler, aadmi hai ya gada hai, that kind of language. But it is the basic problem with the drawing. It is the basic problem with the specifications. So if you have a shower channel, as you see in the picture below, then you have a unilateral slope and the wastewater is quickly disposed of, flows directly into the shower channel. There will be no standing water, which generally causes the leakages. Again, specifications. You must, whenever you have the dado tiles or the floor tiles, you must have grouts between the two tiles. And then you should have a sealant at the joint of a wash basin counter or kitchen counter. As you see in the picture, there is a proper sealant which is used at the joint. In absence of this kind of sealant, the water starts going into the wall tiles or dado tiles, as we call it, and the water will eventually come out. And you can see the leakages. So this is a very delicate part, but you need to have proper specifications, and there should be an item in the tender for putting sealants at the joints of the dado tiles and the counters. Okay, then this is a construction problem. You have a CPM chart which says this is a critical activity, this must be done yesterday, that kind of thing. So you do the drainage line into the sunken toilet portion, you do the backfilling, you do the tiling immediately, then you do the wall tiling, and wow, it's done. The project is complete. But then what happens? After 1 or 2 months, the backfilling done in the sunken portion starts settling down because it is still breathing. And while breathing, it starts settling down. And how much is the settling? Maybe 1 millimeter or 1.5 millimeter. But that creates a gap between the wall tile and the floor tile. You can see on the right, the small gap over there from where the water gets into the sunken toilet portion. And this gap is not noticed by the person who is using the toilet. It is the mistake because of the critical path of the construction. Again, if you use sealant at the joint between the dado tile and the wall tile, that sealant stretches. When there is a gap, the sealant stretches and it will not allow water to leak into the sunken portion. What is the solution? The solution is very simple. You must have clear access to the plumbing shaft. As you see in the picture on the right, this is a photograph of one of our sites. So we continue the slab even in the plumbing shaft area with a cutout for pipes to come down. Now, because of this shaft, because of this platform, the plumber is able to get into the plumbing shaft, inspect the plumbing lines, and take the action immediately. So this working platform is important. And another important thing is that from each toilet, from each floor, there must be access into the plumbing shaft. You cannot expect a plumber to climb down or climb up in a high-rise building. Nowadays, all buildings are at least 5, 6, 7 floors tall, and maybe much more. So there must be access to the plumbing shaft from each toilet and each floor, so that inspection can be done quickly and action can be taken immediately. So that was about the external plumbing. What about the internal plumbing? When you have a sunken toilet portion with all the plumbing into the sunken portion of the toilet, excuse me, and then you have a leakage. That leakage takes maybe a month or 2 to come out from the slab below. And then the person staying at the lower portion, lower floor, notices that there is leakage. He reports it to the person above. And then the whole thing starts. You have to remove the plumbing fixtures. You have to remove the plumbing lines. You have to remove the tiles. You have to excavate the whole sunken floor, find out the leakage, do the waterproofing again, do the tiling again, install the plumbing fixtures again. And it takes about a month. It takes about 1 lakh rupees expenditure and huge inconvenience. However, if you go for non-sunken toilet floor, which is now a very common practice, the entire plumbing is hidden with a small false ceiling in the toilet below. So if at all there is any leakage, it doesn't take 2 months to notice it. It is seen immediately on the false ceiling tile. You remove the tile, peep inside, look at the problem, put a small portion of a M-seal, stop the leakage immediately. It takes maybe 10 minutes or half an hour to stop the leakage. There are no damages, there is no inconvenience. And I think this is the best solution to attempt to notice the leakage and to attend it as immediately as possible. So there is a huge advantage, and particularly when you have a hotel or a hospital where there is an attached toilet which is not working and you are not able to let out the room, then the losses are huge. Maybe 10,000 rupees a day is the loss. You cannot afford it for commercial buildings. But even in residential building, closing the toilet for 1 month is not a good idea. So let us all adopt the ceiling hung plumbing system, which is very friendly with respect to leakages. So, as I said, notice the leakage at early stage, take the action immediately. That will cause less damage and less inconvenience to people. And continuing the same message, appoint a formally trained plumber. The plumber without proper training, plumbers playing with jugaads are very dangerous, causing leakages. Appoint a reputed plumbing consultant who will advise proper plumbing systems. To learn more, attend Indian Plumbing Professional League, which is coming up very shortly, and join Indian Plumbing Association. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Your every single word is, like blessing for us. It was very, very much knowledgeable and informative session. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure it has cleared most complicated concept of all the attendees in a very simple way. We are very sorry for the technical goof off in between, and we are thank you very much for having patience. And now I like to play the video which we could not play in the earlier session.
Bhakti, I will suggest to reduce the video noise sound because there is quite the sound is very loud and
Okay. Is this okay?
you can reduce it further because from the sound nothing is going to understand.
Okay. Fine.
Once you run it, I will explain.
Yeah.
I may ask you to pause at certain location. Before you
Sure.
start, I will
Yeah.
like to explain that you can see the tank number 32 and 33. They are both equal capacity tank, and one is having a gravity outlet fitted and other is having the siphonic outlet fitted. 33 is with the gravity outlet and 32 is with the siphonic outlet. You can make out the difference with the size of outlet, size of pipe. You can play the video now. Same quantity of water is let in both the tank, so the flow rates are constant, and you can see the performance of both the system in comparison to each other. In the horizontal piping, you can see gravity pipe is bigger in size and water is flowing 50% or 70%, as against siphonic pipe is smaller in size and it is flowing full. In the vertical section also, siphonic is flowing full. As we come to the end portion, the siphonic pipe is also enlarged 2 times the diameter to make it gravity system. I think you play it again, so people will try to understand with the information shared to them right now. Thank you, Bhakti. That was all for siphonic system. You can take it forward now.
Yes. Thank you very much. Now we are moving ahead with the final part, question and answer session. Some of you have already asked questions, which I shall ask the speaker. Others who have not yet asked the questions, please type your questions in the chat box or the question answer place with the speaker name to whom you want to address the question to. Now, the people who have already asked, the first question goes, what by Mr. Chetan Apte. What was your arrangement for filling up overhead tank? How did you manage filling up overhead tank for firefighting?
There was a normal system to fill the overhead tank in any case. So first the water will fill the firefighting tank and the overflow will go to utility tank. It's a normal arrangement. Even without, if you are supplying only with the gravity system, then also you will have the same arrangement. There will always be a pumping system which is filling first the firefighting tank and the overflow will go to the utility tank.
I hope that answers the question. Mr. Binoy De have asked how we connect hot and cold water in a single system, as it could be different pipeline for losses.
It is a different system. Nobody is saying that it is flowing through the common pipe. See, what I say, you have to balance the pressure. So ultimately, yeah, in your mixer, there will be one connection for the cold water. There will be one connection for the hot water, and water after mixing will flow through the shower. So when water is being mixed, what are the pressures will decide what will be the ratio of cold to hot water. The more the pressure in one side will have the more ratio in that particular maybe cold or hot water. So that piping is definitely different. Nobody is saying that there was the same piping.
Yeah. The next question is, Mr. Dipali Kulkarni, is partial plumbing is workable solution in residential building from residence maintenance point of view?
Partial yes.
Plumbing.
Yes. Means why there should be more maintenance? What you can say, because there are systems at different location, you will have to maintain it at different location. But per se, the maintenance is not going to increase.
And but the next question is hot water standard temperature if we consider 25 liter.
25
liters. I'm not understanding. You retype whoever is asked this question. The next question.
Just the temperature of the hot water which a person can take on his body maximum is 42 degrees. And the average temperature normally which is used is 38 degrees. So whatever quantity basically we define is at the mixed quantity which you basically take on the body.
Rahul, I think his question was, when we say 25 liter, what temperature quantity at 25 liter to be supplied? So National Building Code says up to 60 degrees Celsius, 25 liter per person to be considered while planning the system.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Yogesh Kotia has asked where to use ring type fittings, where to use solvent connected fittings. No.
I think that's a question for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So only if you are using UPVC pipes and fittings, the solvent cement jointing is used for horizontal or buried pipes, and ring type fittings are used for vertical pipes. However, nowadays all new modern materials like polypropylene pipes, etc., the ring type fittings are used both for horizontal as well as vertical.
Okay. The next question goes, best type of pipe material for downtake?
Is it for water supply or drainage? I don't know. Rainwater.
I think it is drainage. Yeah. Actually, if you consider all the aspects of pipe, like thermal expansion, the smoothness, there are various categories that will come forward. One of the important aspect nowadays we consider is the noise the pipe makes, because these pipes are now just above the fall ceiling in the toilet. So if somebody flushes at night and that is disturbing your sleep, that is not a good idea. So the pipe with less noise is also to be considered nowadays.
Correct, sir. The next question is to Nilesh Gandhi, sir. Is there any special arrangement required in the first chamber of external stormwater line for siphonic rainwater system?
So whenever you convert a siphonic system to gravity, that is called as a first chamber for conversion. That chamber has to be size slightly bigger in capacity, because the quantum of water which is coming at one location is quite high. There has to be some surge capacity kept. Then there should be proper vent for that chamber if the chamber cover is completely sealed. Otherwise, it can dislodge the chamber cover also. And the pipe diameter, at least last 2.5 meter, has to be 2 times the pipe size of siphonic. That means if 100 mm is the siphonic size, then the outlet we should convert to 200 mm minimum distance of 2 to 3 meter before it is connected to the chamber. This will help it to convert to gravity system, and the velocities are also controlled. Also, there are certain guidelines of you cannot have inspection chamber in the siphonic zone and other. Whatever manufacturer's installation you are doing, they will have all those small further details given on the drawing, so you can follow it safely.
Okay, I hope Manish Padwal's question was answered. The next question is, if hydronomatic type plan, then power supply is mandatory. It's extra cost if DG for resident, for DG for residential.
Yes. If you are going for a hydropneumatic system, then the genset backup is a must. But in any case, when you have a 22-story building, you have lifts and everything. So in any case, you have a genset. What will happen is that you will have to just increase the capacity of the genset by your requirement for the pumping system.
Okay. Mr. Yogesh Kotia is asking, in drainage PVC HWR, which kind of fitting should be used? Subhash sir.
In drainage, that is probably underground drainage. For underground drainage, we have to use 6 kg fittings minimum. In swimming pools, we have been using 10 kg fitting, pipes and fittings.
The next question is, what is the minimum IC depth? 110 is inlet for soil pipe. Not clear. I'll go to the next question. Whoever is typed can type again with some clarity. The next is Mr. Abhishek Chaugule. How to avoid maintain mineral deposition at inner lining of pipes? How to avoid maintain mineral deposition at inner lining for pipes?
Is it for water supply? Probably.
You will have to install the softener. You will have to do the water treatment, and you will have to control all the elements in the water, so that ultimately you can avoid the deposition of any kind of minerals on the pipeline surface.
And if the inner surface is smooth, there will be no deposition in the pipe. That happens particularly in PI pipe.
Even in PVC pipes, there is a deposition, sir. We have certain samples where the entire CPVC pipe is choked because of the calcium.
Okay.
Softener can use for potable water, sir. They ask.
This is a question?
Yeah. Question mark.
See, softener is going to control your hardness. So there can be different kind of impurities. Softener will control only hardness. If you have a bacterial content, then softener will not be sufficient. You will have to treat it in different way. But softener will definitely reduce your hardness.
Okay. Yogesh Kotia is asking the addition to the previous question. Type of fitting means ring or solvent for PVC SWR.
No, it has to be solvent, as I explained earlier.
Okay, I think all the questions are answered.
Okay, great.
Uh, So now I would like to hand over the session to Dinesh Shah sir to please give a vote of thanks. Handing over to Dinesh sir.
Hello. Hello, Bhakti.
Yes, sir.
Dinesh is not in panelist, so you can do the
You,
vote of thanks.
You only offer to.
thank you very much, everyone, for such a wonderful session. All the speakers and Praveen Bora sir for giving us details of IPPL. I'm sure we're going to get many registrations now after these sessions. For Sanjay sir for telling us about IPA Pune chapter, what all activities we have done, and all the speakers, Rahul Dadfade sir, Nilesh Gandhi sir, and Subhash Deshpande sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Bhakti.
Thanks to Bhakti and thanks to all who have attended the
Yeah,
session.
all the attended the session. Thank you.
Thank
very
you
much.
all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
And thanks to Bhima Rao.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you HQ.
Thank you, Bhakti. Can I end the meeting?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay.
हे ना ते भीमरावला आहे ना